The man on the wall is Dave Clifford. He's one of the many contemporary artists who've been working at the Project Arts Centre during the last few weeks. The organisers call it a dark space, and they've invited artists from Ireland and abroad to work in the derelict site. And they've invited the public to come, have a look and discuss what's happening. We didn't see any paintings or objects of art while we were there, but we did see some unusual things. We found these little settlements on the site of a demolished building. They were built there by Charles Simonds, a New York artist, who worked not in the project but outside on a nearby street. He never works in a gallery. His work is always available in the street for the ordinary citizen of Dublin to make of it what he will.
That's a wee castle there or something, isn't it? There's supposed to be one.
I don't know. I didn't do it.
I didn't do it.
No.
Very hard to know.
It's like the remains of an old house.
It is. It steps up to it. It's like something that's near a lot of hills, or it's very hard to know. You wouldn't know what's in another fellow's mind when he's creating a thing like that.
I mean, did he do it for a purpose, for his own pleasure?
Well, he works in the street. He makes these buildings for an imaginary civilization.
It's very good.
Would it remind you of anything?
The war.
The war?
He got nothing for doing it. He had to do it for free.
He did it all. He did it for us.
Oh,
on
did he
the
for
street.
you?
No, for everybody going up and down on the
You
street.
have to look at it and find out what it is.
Yes,
And you get
yeah.
a prize if you say what it is. Yeah.
Who live in that house?
Queen.
The Queen.
Yeah.
Do you mind putting such an effort into something and then having it just washed away by the weather?
I most enjoy the making of it, so...
Will people pay money for your work?
For something like this?
Yes.
No, but for things that go to museums, yeah. What do you mean? I've had people come to me in the street and with a board, you know, and say, would you make one on my board for $50?
And you do?
No, I never do that. This is like an endless wandering of an imaginary civilization, and then I spend my time building the places where they live, the habitations where they've been, right? And so it's like each dwelling is a different time and place in their history, right? It's like a story, wandering through the streets and so on. And so the idea has to do with sort of inhabiting people's life, daily life, with a fantasy, sort of a parallel little world going along next to them.
Charles Simonds has worked for the last 10 years with community groups in derelict parts of New York City. He works on his dwellings with the local kids and with any adult who cares to join in.
What's in mind of Woodkey?
Of Woodkey as it was.
I find often that you see people projected into their own past, since I've done it in many different countries. Each group of people throws it into their own. So Americans think it's like the Southwest American Indians, and so people in Paris think it's from North Africa.
It's beautiful.
So nice.
Yeah.
Nice. What would it remind you of?
Stone Age building.
And what happened to the people?
They just die off.
They just die off.
Well, they moved to other places and built towns. And they all live in the towns.
Back in the project, Nigel Rolfe is about to commence his 5-day performance, which he calls Attack Defence. Nigel is a sculptor and performance artist. An audience watches while he works as actor Gerard Flynn, the victim of the piece, is built into the picture. During the following 5 days, the victim was tied, attached to the wall by string, and made to balance stacks of timber on various parts of his body. Meanwhile, Dave Clifford is hammering away at a hole in the wall. He's a student of sculpture in the College of Art. Dave,
Yes?
what are you doing?
Well, this is part of some performance work that's going on here at the project. This is my piece entitled Go On. Initially, the idea came from the activity, the minimal activity of running itself. And I elaborated this idea into this space.
When did you start?
When was it? Last Monday night, I started the performance.
4 days ago.
Yeah.
And what did you do?
Well, I set up a video installation and a slide installation of myself running through the park, Phoenix Park. And I had 5 rainbow trout in the aquariums. And I siphoned the water off the fish. And this took between an hour and 20 minutes.
And were there people watching it?
Yes. And when I got back, that was after an hour, some of the fish had died. So I began to cut them up and fillet them and fry them here. And some people had left and other people stayed and ate the fish. And that was it.
And did anybody object to what you were doing?
Yeah, some people objected, okay. Strangely enough.
What have you been doing since then?
I've been cutting out the shape, running each night, 8 miles each night, and cutting the shape each day.
What's the shape going to be?
Shape is myself in a running position. And what I intend to do is plaster myself into this position, and which will signify the running.
The music you hear is not accidental. It's from a film which is being shown simultaneously in another part of the gallery, and which shows the gruesome details of animals being slaughtered in an abattoir. Performance art invites a response from the onlooker. The usual response is, what the hell is it all about? This is the very question the people at the project mean us to ask. Should art be confined to art galleries? Is art something that you hang on your wall or put on your mantelpiece if you're rich enough to afford it? And the age-old question, what does it have to do with the man in the street?
Just hang on till your man's come.
It's one of those things I've never really been into in any serious.
No, not personally. No.
No.
But if your job is to sort of cover blokes being immured
Yeah.
and sort of daft geezers being stuck with putty,
Yeah. That's not.
then you've got to.
That's not great clay.
I'm totally in favour of all this.
You are.
Yes. I think it's funnily wonderful.